Attention, attention, attention. The following is a PSA from the Cross and the Crescent discussion group. The Cross and the Crescent discussion group is a discussion group for adults and adults only. We discuss adult topics regarding religion, spirituality, philosophy, current events from an adult perspective among adults. It was never meant to be heard or presented to minor children. It has been brought to the former and new owner's attention that minor children may have been contacted by a man named Charles C. Doyle on social media. He may be directing them to this YouTube page for the direct purpose of causing them mental and spiritual harm. His purpose in doing this is so they can report the previous owner and get him fired from his teaching job for what Charles Doyle and his ilk deem hate speech. If you are a minor child and or student at Dr. Smith's school and were directed to this YouTube channel by Charles Doyle and or received a friend request from him, please inform your parents immediately and block him from your social media accounts. Charles Doyle is a deeply disturbed individual who was once a police officer until he was fired and permanently stripped of all police powers for assaulting a handcuffed teenager in the back of his squad car. He then instructed his junior officer to destroy the evidence for his crime. As a former Marine and police officer, Charles Doyle has professed his ownership and proficiency with firearms. He has also recently threatened self-harm and harming others by going out with a bang. To any child that has been harmed or experienced trauma due to the selfish and reckless actions of this mentally ill individual, we, both the old and new owners, sincerely apologize, as the topics discussed were never meant for children and have always been meant for mature audiences. Rest assured, neither the previous owner nor the current owner will ever contact any child that is not our family, directly or indirectly. To any parent who has had a child that has been contacted by Charles Doyle and has since viewed these materials and wish to contact us for a discussion, please feel free to email us. Children, if you see Charles Doyle at your school, do not approach him, as he is to be considered a danger to himself and others. Inform your teachers immediately, and calmly proceed to the nearest place of safety. This has been a public service announcement from the Cross and the Crescent discussion group. Now under new ownership. All information contained in this video was legally obtained from the State of Georgia Peace Officer Standards and Training Council. On or about September 6, 08, this officer, Charles C. Doyle, opened the back door of a patrol car and grabbed a juvenile who was in custody and handcuffed by the neck and pushed the juvenile down in the seat in the prone position. The officer was on top of the juvenile, cursing the juvenile. On or about September 6, 08, the officer, Charles C. Doyle, either took part in, or allowed a subordinate officer to destroy a DVD of the incident. On or about September 6, 08, the officer, Charles C. Doyle, failed to do a use of force report regarding the incident. On or about September 6, 08, the officer, Charles C. Doyle, failed to prevent a subordinate officer from destroying the DVD. On or about January 15, 09, the CEO was made aware of the incident and ordered an internal investigation. On or about January 15, 09, the officer, Charles C. Doyle, admitted opening the door and getting in the back seat with the juvenile. The officer admitted to grabbing the juvenile by the shoulder and telling the juvenile, "You're not going to with me." On or about January 15, 09, the officer, Charles C. Doyle, admitted watching the subordinate officer destroying the tape and never made an attempt to stop the subordinate. On or about January 15, 09, the subordinate officer stated that the officer was the supervisor and the officer told the subordinate to destroy the tape. On or about January 16, 09, the officer, Charles C. Doyle, was terminated from law enforcement employment. Disciplinary history. On or about May 4, 08, the officer received a written reprimand for using a computer for personal reasons.
That's all, folks.